A bruja is the Spanish version of a walker. It is a person who practices black magic, and they can shapeshift into anything or anyone, and they are known to feed off the youth. Now, this story comes out of Mexico City. There was this woman named Guadalupe, and she said when she was younger, she slept in a bedroom with her sister. And at night, when she couldn't sleep, she would go over to the window, which overlooked the street. And she would look out and sometimes watch the cars go by and watch the stars up in the sky. Well, this particular night, she could not sleep. So she goes over to the window and she starts looking up at the sky. That's when she notices something moving in the air. And as it came into the light, she could see it was an old woman that was flying above the houses. This old woman then turns her head and she notices Guadalupe. Guadalupe is like terrified now because she's like, she just seen me. So she runs to her bed and she throws the covers over her face and she goes to sleep. Well, the next morning, she wakes up and she feels kind of funny. And that's when she realizes she is hanging halfway out the window. The only thing keeping her in are these bars that are across the outside of the window. A couple years later, she said that once again she was asleep in her bedroom. And she said she began to hear these loud screams coming from outside in the street. So she got up and she walked out to the front room. And she said she noticed that the front door was open. And she said, Mom, Pop, is that you? And they didn't respond. So she thinks maybe her mother or father got up and they went outside and something was wrong. So she goes out the front door and she said she started looking around up and down the street. And that's when she notices the same old woman standing in this middle of the street. And she said she started to slowly walk towards her and she was screaming this whole time. So she runs inside, she closes the front door, and she can hear this screaming getting louder and louder. She runs into her parents' room and wakes them up and is like, there's this woman outside screaming. And her parents tell her, like, come inside, like, get into bed with us, and you're sleeping with us tonight. And she said the next day she overheard her mother talking to her father saying that she had seen a bruja.